Good afternoon and welcome to Black Press USA's Fire broadcast. An actor who began his career struggling on Broadway as a single father of 3 children, Curtis Cook. Curtis with 2 S's, y'all. He first caught the bug for acting early in his hometown of Dayton, Ohio. Following his passion, he put everything he had into solidifying his future career as an actor. Curtis has become he became the first American to receive a full ride scholarship to London's prestigious Mount View Academy of Theatre Arts. He then moved to New York, the Big Apple, and began performing on Broadway, including in productions of The Lion King and Miss Saigon. Right now, you can see him in that wildly successful Showtime series, The Chi. Season 3 is just completed, and he's looking forward to season 4. Curtis is also looking ahead to some other great things, including the Broadway remake of West Side Story. Welcome, Curtis Cook.
Man, all of that you done said about me, I ain't got nothing else to say. Thank y'all.
Thank you. Good night.
Thank you, Stacey, man. Thank you, man. It's a pleasure to be here, man, to talk with you. I'm really looking forward to this.
It's a privilege to have you on Black Press USA's Fire broadcast. We were looking forward to this for a little while now. We thank you for taking out the time. We know that we're in a pandemic, but you still look like, like you came off the set yesterday. What's going on?
It's smoke and mirrors, brother. Smoke and mirrors. You know what? Hands off this camera, you be like, oh, hey. Curtis, I'll be like, hey. So, no, man, I try to keep exercising, try to keep healthy. I try to eat healthy and do a lot of exercise and stuff like that. I try to keep it together, man.
Well, I guess, as long as you do it, I feel like I'm doing something. I'm going to live vicariously through your exercise. How about that?
Okay.
Curtis, there's a lot of fans of The Chi. I was talking to my daughter yesterday. She lives out in Las Vegas, and I told her I was going to have you on, and she was excited. Can you kind of refresh, because you took on this character that is gaining a lot of interest. I want you to tell us a little bit about the character and tell us about where things left off, and then kind of whet our appetites for I'm not asking you to give away the plot, but kind of tease people as to where this might be going in season 4.
Wow. So yeah, you're right. So I came on to The Chi in season 2. I play Otis Douda Perry. That's Douda, D-O-U-D-A. And he is a businessman in the Southside of Chicago, who is also the head of the 63rd Street mob. And so he has a lot of dealings in the city, in the street, and whatnot. Pretty unscrupulous dude. What I will say about Douda is that he's nobody to mess with, but he's honest. So if he says he's going to do something, he's going to do it. And you hope that he's going to do something nice for you. This season, we brought on a lot of new characters, man. So it was really exciting. We brought in Douda's wife, Roselyn, played by the incredible, the beautiful Miss Kandi Burrus. And we brought on Trig, who plays an adversary for Douda. That was played by Mr. Luke Perry, beautifully done. And so the triangle between the 3 of them was that Douda was trying to take care of Jake, who was regular on the show, played by Michael Epps, and have custody of him. But Trig was coming in this season to take the custody away from Douda. So that was that triangle, as well as Otis was running for mayor of Chicago. So you're talking about a drama, and that's just one section of the show. We have there's 4 major sects in this community of the South Side of Chicago, which is beautiful. It's just so you're getting to see the best and the worst of just people in general on the South Side of Chicago, and they're being the beautifully, unapologetically Black selves, man, and all of his glory and all of his angst. And what Lena Waithe and Showtime have done with this show, it's amazing. It hits hard. It makes you look at some things that you wonder, should we be talking about this in public? Should we let people know that this is what we be doing in public? But I feel like sometimes you have to get it out there so that certain things can be dealt with. This season we dealt with the kidnapping of a Black girl, a young Black girl, which is a big topic in our country that nobody really talks about that much. So that was really important. And yeah, man. So so we left off where I don't know if people are still watching it because some people like to save them up and just kind of
binge.
So I'll say this, that Douda is running for mayor, and against him this year, Lena Waithe comes in, the creator of the show, to play his running opponent. She's played Camille, and we also want to see who's going to win the mayorship of Chicago. So we got a lot of stuff going on in this.
And you dropped some names in that cast. What is it like to work with such a talented cast?
It's really, really nice, man. It's good. So I mentioned Kandi and I mentioned Luke, and of course there's like Yolanda Ross, who's also in there, an amazing actress. There's Natari, who plays Ronnie, is an amazing actor. The cast is stellar, man. Tyla, she plays the mother. She plays Nina. So it's like being on the top basketball team. You know what I mean? Like an all-star basketball team. You know everybody gonna know their position. Everybody's gonna pass you the ball on the right point. You know what I mean? And set everything up for you, and you're gonna set everything up for them. And everyone's come with the top skills. So it's invigorating when you're able to just go to work and literally just play. You don't have to worry about what the other actor is going to give you. You're able to just be there in the moment and live that moment because you know whatever you do is going to be supported by the other actors. And so it's a dream come true, man. It's for me, this show, the people and the energy, and then Offset too. They're really, really cool folks. Really cool folks.
And sticking for a second with the basketball analogy, so where's Douda? He's like the power forward. Where would you put Douda?
He's a point guard.
Point guard. He's a hustler.
Yeah. Okay. So you got me there, Stacy, because my black behind don't be watching basketball, bro. I should have used he's the hind catcher. He be catching the balls. You're like, okay, we're gonna move on past this.
He swings and hits a touchdown, right? There you go.
He swings and he hits the touchdown.
terrible. But, yeah,
no basketball. Come on, you ain't saying I ain't special. You can't say I ain't.
Look, I told everyone at the outset that you went, to this prestigious academy over there, First Black. So you lost a little bit of it when you went overseas.
I was there for a long time, I was there for 3 years in the books, bro. That is so books. Yeah. Because let me say something real quickly about that, because it was an amazing opportunity for me. And sometimes you get things thrown at you that you really don't know how they're going to change your life, right? And when that came about, what Curtis Cook was going to do at the time, he was going to leave Dayton and he was going to go to the Navy.
Oh, okay.
And not because my father or my grandfather or anybody, my mother or my aunties or anybody were in the service. It was in my mind, it was a quick way out to get back. And I was going to come back to Dayton and work just a regular job, you know what I mean? Like a 9 to 5. But I had living angels, man, who saw the potential. I had done musical theater and stage and dance all through junior high and high school. So I've been doing that all the time. Who saw the potential and the talent in me, knock wood, who helped me find this school and introduced me to this principal. And I went and auditioned for him. And every year the school would come. I don't know if they still do this. I've lost touch. It's over 30-some years ago. Every year they would come to the States and they would audition in New York, Chicago, and LA for students, right? And the woman, Susie Pisani, I'll mention her name, she was a personal friend of this principal. She asked him to come to Dayton to audition me. So on this evening, it was 2 evenings actually, I sang, I did a monologue, I danced for him. And after that, he said I had a position in the school. He's offered me a position in the school. So I go home and I tell my parents, and they're like really happy. Now I'm the oldest of 5 children. My father worked at Montgomery County Engineer. He was a truck driver. My mother was a bus driver. They were really happy for me, but they pulled me to the side and they was like, well, you know what, Curtis, this is wonderful, but we don't have this money. We don't have this. And so I was crushed. And so I went back to Miss Pisani and I said, you know what, thank you for this opportunity. This is beautiful. I don't think this is going to be able to happen. And she said to me, no, darling, wait. Thus, she had a conversation with this man, came back, and they gave me a full ride to this school. And when I tell you, Stacey, that it changed the course of my life and everything thereafter, it is not an understatement by any means. The thing that I was trying to get to before I went all the way back to there was that once I got there, the responsibility of making it and doing it right was a heavy burden on my shoulders because they were real. When I say they were real actors, they had been reading their English, so there's already this presumption of a different kind of intellect in general, and the work in which they would pick up a classic work of Shakespeare or of any of the classics and read it as if it was a comic book. And there's my little black butt, and they're talking about some. Okay, hold on, give me 1 second. Let me. But what that did, it made me work even harder. So at night I would double down on whatever we were reading on the next day and make sure that I was prepared. And that work ethic that I learned there has never left me to this day. And so when I tell you that people come into your lives and if you stay moving forward in your own positive truth, everything will happen for you. I really, really believe that. I really believe that.
Yeah. And Curtis, a lot of folks may not know this. I noticed about you that you had an appearance, at least a role on The Sopranos. Tell us about that.
Man, you know, went way back there. So yeah, on The Sopranos, I was a young black thug, and we were hired to kill somebody, and they changed their mind. They didn't want us to kill. It was me and another dude. Universal was his name. What's up, Universal? If you out there, my dude, I ain't seen you in a long time, love. And they had hired us to kill. I can't remember who they hired us to kill. And then they changed their mind at the last minute. And it was like, no, we don't want them to kill him. And then they shot us up in the van, man. So why you have to bring that up, Stacey?
I remember, actually remember that well. I have a brother who was like, he was a soprano, champ. I mean, every episode, it was a party, and I mean, he just did the soprano thing up. Did you follow the show closely? Next question.
Thing with like the Sopranos. Now the people on there are amazing actors. Of course, the show was legendary. It kind of started that whole network. HBO started that whole kind of doing network shows on HBO or doing series on and I think Sopranos was the beginning of that, or one of the beginnings of that. But the thing for me was that Italian gangster mob movies and shows, although they're interesting, I always used to feel like, where are the black shows that I always felt like that, even when I first got to the city. So I would watch it because Gandolfini is amazing, and I'm trying to figure out the lady's name. I can see her face so clear. Edie Falco is amazing. So I would watch in that aspect, but I wasn't a huge follower of the Sopranos. And I also want to say that my black behind didn't have no money to get cable back then either.
Probably you talk about struggling.
Oh, yes indeed.
Look, so Amelia Santana, one of our viewers, says that, Curtis, I love The Chi. I wish there were more episodes before they break, and I didn't see anything for next season. Amelia, we were just talking about that. There is another season coming up, but Curtis can't give us too much information on it as of yet. But you can expect another season of The Chi, and it sounds like it's going to be pretty interesting as his character runs for mayor.
Right. So the thing about Hollywood and how this business works a lot of time is that on The Chi, I'm not a regular, unfortunately, or fortunately, however you want to look at it. And so although there could be another season, you may not even see my black behind walking around in there. That could be a whole different thing. Now, it could be or it could not be. So yeah, hopefully, man, keep us in your prayers, man, and keep positive energy towards that. Appreciate it. Appreciate you watching.
And before we go forward, and we're talking again with Curtis Cook, Curtis with 2 S's, y'all.
My mama did that, Stacey. Stop messing with me, man. My mama did that.
My mama gave me Stacey. So hey, don't be throwing moms under the bus on this program, okay? We don't do that. So before we go forward, Curtis, let's go back a little bit. You played in House of Cards as Terry Womack. Tell us about that.
House of Cards. I learned a lot on that set. I was fortunate enough to be there a lot of times and watch incredible acting in front of and behind the scenes. Incredible directors came through that thing. Once again, I was fortunate enough to be on a program that was the start of something like The Sopranos was the start of HBO with doing series. House of Cards was the beginning of Netflix doing series. So it was this uncharted territory. When we got there, it was as if we were shooting movies. It wasn't even like a television set, because a lot of times on television it moves very quickly, and so they're trying to get these shots because they only have a certain amount of time to shoot one episode. But because it was Netflix and it was this new territory, and they had bought, I think when it initially started, they had bought all these seasons up front. They were block shooting, meaning that they were doing 3 and 4 episodes at the same time. So the time and the luxury to kind of delve into your characters was there, man. And I took it very seriously. I mean, I started to learn about a lot of political stuff, and trying to look into what it takes to be in politics and what kind of people normally kind of gravitate towards that lifestyle. House of Cards also brought me one of the greatest gifts of my life. I got to work with, I cannot believe that I'm saying this but it's true, a living legend.
The name is just escaping him. He's having a moment.
I'm having a moment, but it's full, man.
So we're thinking about the individuals who played in House of Cards, right?
It's Cicely Tyson.
Okay.
I got to no, it's a lot, man, because she's and you know, you say that give people their flowers while they're living, and she is still here with us, and she has endured so much, and every time you see her, she radiates love and beauty and gravitas and wisdom, and sometimes, man, whenever I think about her, it's almost as if a huge spirit comes into the room. And this little boy from Dayton, Ohio, got to work with her in her profession and in his profession on this ride to wherever I'm going. So it takes me a minute, man. I apologize.
That's okay. You know,
bring it in.
You know, I've just last night watched an episode from the original Mission Impossible, right? And you know, I'm looking at this woman who walks onto the set walks onto the screen with the I can't remember the black actor's character name already. See, I'm getting like you already. Barney. So she's with Barney, and Barney's in love with her, and then she starts talking. Then I take another look. This is Cicely Tyson.
Amen.
She was amazing. You know, I never really realized that she played in things like that as well, but she's done so much. And so you're right. I can understand why you would just draw that, you know, temporary blank there.
Yeah, and it is, and she was so gracious and whatever, and pleasant and open with me during that time. So once again, House of Cards brought me that opportunity, and all of those other actors that were there as well. I got to sit back and watch them work and learn and explore with them. I mean, I became really good friends with Mahershala. He was there as well, and Robin Wright.
Kevin Spacey.
Yeah, so Kevin Spacey. It was a lot of folk that taught me a lot, man. A lot about the business, good and bad. And I would never not thank House of Cards for that opportunity.
Yeah, and you mentioned you know, politics and your character in The Chi, running for mayor. Do you, on a personal note, outside of you know, work, do you get involved in politics at all? There's so much going on.
I don't, other than figuring out who my candidates are in my area and who I should support because of what I believe in and whatever. That's that much. I'm not a big I don't go outside, you know what I mean? Like, of course, every year I vote. And I will be voting this year in 63 days because somebody needs to leave immediately. And all of his cronies and all of those folk in there need to go. And because I feel like this is one of the first years in which I've seen it's so bad that that I need to speak out and I need to say something. Normally, I kind of just keep it to myself, within my family, and just have those conversations and friends and debates about what's happening politically in the world. So I'm not a huge political head, but I do kind of keep my eye open on what's going on and try to vote consciously and with as much information as possible.
Yeah, and Curtis, what advice do you have, or would you give to other actors that are trying to break into the industry?
None. Next question. No, I'm joking.
None at all.
Right, man.
Just
hey, you better cross those fingers. No, I'm joking. So, man, it's one. I would say that you really have to want to do this. You really almost that not even that you want to do it. It's almost as if you have to do it, because a lot of it can be thankless. You have to find your own individual marks for yourself, because the business can be very fickle, and it could be very harsh. With all that being said, if it is something that's in your spirit and in your soul to do, every gig that you have, put all of your spirit and soul into that project. I don't care if it's a off Broadway piece and only 3 people are coming to see it. I don't care if it's the commercial. I don't care, whatever it is, because I say that because every time you drain out as much of yourself, it leaves more room for more information to come in my opinion. And as actors, we need to be able to collect as much information as possible so that we can give out a true projection or perception of whoever we're playing. So I say read as much as you can, watch as much as you can. I mean, everything, not just things that you like, things that you may not ever think, well, I'm watching this, just watch it because watch people as often as you can. Sometimes we used to have to do this in college, actually. Go to the park and we would just sit over in the corner by ourselves and just watch people's interactions. All of that is very valuable. All that information, it pays off in the end. And watch yourself as much as possible. Yeah. And I think that'll help too. Yeah, I don't know if that's any good advice or anything. Take it or leave it. It's
well, we'll take it. We'll take it for what it's worth. How about that? You're also scheduled to appear in West Side Story. It's a classic tale. What's that? How's that going? And what is it like to be in such a production that is revered by so many?
Yeah, we're finished shooting. We finished shooting this before COVID happened, and like I said, when I got to New York City, all I ever thought I would do was Broadway. All I wanted to do was Broadway. I've been very fortunate. I've done a lot of regional productions of a lot of things. And I have his book here. I got to work with Mr. Arthur Lawrence in one of his original pieces called Hallelujah Baby at a time. And Arthur Lawrence, for those who don't know, he is the original playwright of West Side Story, the original, the Broadway version. And when we worked on Hallelujah Baby together, he wrote this book and he gave it to me. And he wrote in here, I read now, it says, "Curtis, a rare and powerful man as an actor, and as a man, somebody who is definitely worth connecting with. And it means so much to me." And this was in 2004 when we did that. And it means so much to me that now, all these years later, I am being included in one of his original pieces, and it's iconic. And it's Steven Spielberg and Tony Kushner who are behind it. And as a lot of us know, back in 1957 in New York City, there was a lot of Black folk walking around. We were there. We were doing a lot of stuff. But for whatever reason, Arthur and the people that were in charge of West Side Story at the time had not included us in that way. And the fact that they're doing that this time around, it's amazing. Yeah. And even more so, I have to pinch myself every night. The fact that I am one of those representation, it floors me, Stacey. It's man, I've been so fortunate. I've been so fortunate in my life, and I'm grateful. I'm grateful for it. And so look out for this man. I can't say a lot about what the character I'm playing is Abe. I can't say a lot about what he's doing in the piece right now, but it's going to be exciting. It's going to be really exciting.
Yeah, I know that there's a tentative, at least a tentative, if not a set in stone release date for West Side Story of Friday, December 18th. Mm-hmm. So I guess we can all look for it at least around that time, if not that day. So it would be refreshing to be able to go back into the theaters with it.
Right, definitely, most definitely. I don't know if my behind is gonna be in there with y'all, dog. Because that stuff, you don't know how that corona is catching you. You think it's just gives like, I got you. I'm right in this house, sitting here like this.
Well, so what's it been like with this pandemic, especially for actors? We've had a lot of singers, musicians on this show, but what's it been like specifically for actors to sit? Because you don't know one day to the next, how things are going to be.
Mm-hmm. Well, I don't know about for all actors, of course, but for myself, it's really been shut down. I mean, March, I think March the 12th. My wife is also an actress. She's on Broadway. She's on The Lion King. So I feel like it was like March the 13th. Angelica had they were told him that Broadway's closed. So that's when it was really real. So so it's me, my wife, and my two children, Harlem and Jay, the twins. My older children, Curtis, Isis, and Kimani, are grown, so they out the house. And the 16-year-olds are almost grown, but they're about to be out the house. They don't know. Maybe tomorrow, but it's okay. So it was shut down. Basically, everything stopped. There were no appointments. There were no meetings. There was nothing for me. That is. Just recently, things have started to pick back up. The last couple of weeks or so. But in a way, I was one of the fortunate ones who was able to take advantage of the time. I travel a lot. I'm not home as often as I would like to be. My wife is always in the city and doing her show, so she's not home in evenings normally. So we're like looking at each other like, what? We're here together and we're going to be here tomorrow. And right. And it was Stacey, it was amazing. It was amazing for the first 3 weeks.
Yeah, for the
and
first
then
3 weeks.
More weeks came. And it's like, what? You gonna be here? You gonna be here again tomorrow and next night too? All right. I love you. I love all y'all. So the beauty of it is that we have a nice sized house and we can find our little corners of the house and be like, But no, I'm joking. But it just shut down, the business shut down, and now we're waiting for it to start back up and to see what's going to happen and how different it's going to be, because it's going to have to be different because this COVID is serious, right? This COVID-19 is serious. It's not nothing to play with, and I do take it very seriously as well.
Yeah, over 6 million people in America has been diagnosed that we know of, right? 180 some odd thousand deaths that we know of. So. Yeah, it is nothing to play with. You're absolutely right. We had a colleague who talks about his experience. My wife and I both also recovered from COVID-19. But yeah, we have a colleague in Houston, Jeffrey Boney, who gives a great experience, if you call it great experience. But his experience was a lot more traumatic than my wife's and I, because he's got to worry about other things that have happened because of the virus. But he's done well, and we continue to look up to Jeff. Jeff is a great journalist, but COVID has really turned a lot of people's world, just about everybody's world, upside down, right? And now it's of course a hot topic politically. So you can't get away from politics, Curtis.
Yeah, and man, it's amazing that those numbers you say are staggering. 6 million, over 180,000, and the fact that we know those numbers and we can easily say them, and you feel like it's the fault, and how much it could have been avoided. You know what I mean? How easily a lot of this stuff did not have to reach to that amount. I mean, these are numbers that have never been heard of. That sounds like world wars numbers. You know what I mean? It's not just, it's not like, God forbid, like a hurricane or something that's happening. You're like, oh man, that's horrible. And it's not done. And then you say that we know of. So it's even an implication that there could even be more. Yeah. And this administration continues to use it, like you're saying, as some kind of a pawn, as a chess piece, to try to get something out of. And it's like, these are people's lives, man. People who are just trying to get up in the day and make it to the night so they can get up again tomorrow. That's all. But you're trying to use their lives to gain some kind of, all I can think of is monetary, something out of it. It's staggering to me that some people are not taking this thing as seriously as it is. It's staggering.
Yeah, and when you consider that other countries have gotten a hold of it, mm-hmm. and here we are, the richest country in the on the planet, and yet we're still struggling with it. So a lot to be said about that, but we don't want it to be all doom and gloom in right. this conversation. We'll get back to the fun stuff, right?
Yeah, right.
So what have you found to be your most challenging role so far?
Oh, wow. Good question. My most challenging role. I mean, so a couple of things just kind of flew through my head real quick. I mean, because the first thing I was going to say, it's not really a role, but it is a role. It's being a father.
Well, there you go.
Real life.
Real life.
And because with that, I was talking to my friend yesterday, a good friend of mine, Marquise, and we were having a really good conversation because our children are grown, besides the twins who are 16, they're grown. And although, people say when you have children, nobody gives you a handbook, right? Nobody really gives you a handbook how to raise a child or whatever. But at younger ages, you kind of know, when potty training is supposed to happen, maybe you should try this and whatever it is. And then you're trying to teach them how to eat something. It's like, well, maybe you want to try this and whatever, there's little things. It might not be a handbook, but it's a little bit of a guide. But we were just talking yesterday about how nobody gives you a guide, or there's no lesson plan on how to communicate with a grown child, with somebody who is now on their own, who's 24 years old. You know what I mean? So they're grown, but they're still babies, from your perspective. And then, so I have a 24-year-old, then I have a 28-year-old, then I have a 29-year-old, right? And just that communication, from the switch from you're not my child anymore, but you're a man, or you're a grown woman, but you're still my child, and how to navigate those waters is really difficult, especially when they're going through some things and they don't want to tell you, or they do want to tell you, but they don't want your advice. They're just telling you. So when you ask my greatest role or whatever, it's just really trying to figure out how to stay in their business, but appear like I'm not in their business. How to be like, oh, you are great. So when you think you want to do that tomorrow, or when, or what you doing? Trying to do all of that, because they're amazing people. Yeah. But sometimes the not knowing how they are and what they're doing is stressful. So that's my greatest role. But as far as challenging in the acting world, I mean, I would say that Otis Douda Perry is multi-layered, and I've had an opportunity to delve into certain parts of myself that I maybe not have shown in other characters before. So the fact that I get to come in with this trifecta of businessman, gangster, politician, well, those two things are kind of similar, but politician is really exciting and fun to try to accomplish.
So going back to the kids though, when they watch, or do they watch Dad?
Yeah, my youngest son, Harlem, he doesn't. I have to force him to watch.
You have to force him? Okay.
Now, we're watching this today. We're watching it. Yes.
So
how was that, Harlem? How was it? Yeah.
So when they see you, and they see the character, when you come home, or maybe you're home watching it with them, do they look at you and say, Dad, that was really you, or Dad, that's not really how you are?
Right.
How much of that you get?
Right. So one time I was watching it right over and I saw a scene and Douda was evil as, he was in it. And I was like, woo, that was pretty rough. I'm like, ain't y'all glad I'm not like that? If we were having like a group party. All the children were here and we were watching it together. I was like, ain't y'all glad I'm not like that? And they were like, I was like, what? What do you mean? What? It was like, Dad, my youngest daughter, Jay, she was like, Dad, you are sort of like that. I'm like, what? I can't look. I'm not. It was like, yeah, everybody chimed in at the same time. I was like, yeah, Dad, I don't know what you think you are, but you're not nice, Dad. So I don't watch TV with them anymore, Stacey. I watch it when they watch it, and I watch it by myself.
They've taken the joy from you, huh?
That truth, you just, I don't need it right now. It's a character. That's not me.
So what was it like, or has this happened, I should say? I know you got a couple of grown kids, right? 3 grown kids, you said, right? Mm-hmm. What was it like the first time they opened a beer or a bottle of wine and sat at the table with you?
Yeah. So it's strange, right?
It was very strange.
Very, because you're looking, right? And so we have liquor cabinet stuff here, and it's worse because there's a whole wine selection that we have over there. It's the special wines that we do on special occasions. It's worse when they come over and then you turn around and that special bottle that's $200 and something is open on it, and then they go and pour some soda inside of it with it, and you're like, okay. Who opened this, first of all? Who didn't see you go back to Dad? I don't care how old you are. You could be 57 years old. You about to get stuff like that. So it's odd, man. It takes me a minute to kind of digest it. It's one of those things. Like, once again, you don't have a rule book. You're looking at them. You're like, yo, you're 28 years old. You're allowed to drink. Wow. Okay, how long you been drinking? You've been drinking for a long time. What are you doing? You doing anything else? That's exciting. Let me know. But, and I have 2 grandchildren too. Curtis Jr. Has a son. I call him MD, and Isis.
Isis.
That's my second oldest daughter. Okay. Curtis, Isis, and Kimani. And then Harlem, Jay. Those are the children. So MD is Curtis's son. He's 1. And then V is Isis's son, and he is 3. So I have the 2 grandchildren, 2 grandsons, and them as well. So that's another trip. Stacey's seeing them with these babies, and you're like, oh, okay, you gonna let him do that? You let your son do that? Okay, all right. Come here, buddy. Come on over here, buddy. Come on over to Gramps. Oh man, it ain't ending. Evidently, this is about to go on forever. So I'm here for it. I'm here for it.
Yeah. So you find yourself like, okay, you mentioned the grandkids, right? And so you find yourself. Do you find yourself saying, okay, here's my chance to get back at my kids, or how do you approach the grandkids? Because we went to Las Vegas and visited, my wife and I, we went to visit my daughter and son-in-law and grandchild. Okay. And so what we did, there's this huge candy store in Vegas, right? It's so big they have shopping carts. So the baby's 3 years old. We just gave her a shopping cart and said, go ahead, Nina.
Push her down the aisle, just knock everything into the cart.
Yep. Look, it cost us a mortgage payment, but
it's gonna be worth it.
It was worth it.
Oh, that's brilliant. Not yet. The 1-year-old hasn't stayed with us by himself yet. Because I was telling you business, Curtis. If you're watching, you about to know all your business gonna be out there. Because my son and his lady, they have this new thing that they started to potty train him at 10 months. Mm. And So they potty trained a 10-month-old to learn how to use a potty, and he can't talk. He don't talk. So one of the methods is just don't put no diaper on him. Don't put a diaper on him.
Oh my God!
I'll let you know when he. So my wife, they came over, and we're like, okay, and we're like, we have dogs. We have 2 cockers, and I love my grandson to death, MD. And they walk in, and it's like, okay, made a messy. I'm like, okay. So I'm just saying that to say that MD hasn't spent any time with us by himself yet. We're waiting till he gets potty trained. On the other hand, V comes over a lot, and V is vegan.
Okay. Wow.
Okay.
I'll let you handle that one.
You said, wow. So V is vegan, and V has been vegan since he's been born. Don't ask me exactly how that works, but it's working, and he's still here. He's healthy. I love him. These are my children and my grandchildren. So I look at this, and all I say is that, nobody gave me a rule book. Nobody gave me a rule book. This is how I did it, and this is what they're doing. Leave us alone. Don't judge us.
Oh God!
That's my life.
Wow. So did you know what vegan was until they introduced it to you?
Well, I did. I have friends who are vegan as well, but I had never met a baby vegan.
Hey,
but we are not followers. We're leaders. So if there is one there, we are creating baby vegans. Now you know the term baby vegan. V is a baby vegan, and he's beautiful. He's a smart. Oh my God, this dude is so smart. If anybody goes to my IG page, I used to do these things. I don't do them as often, but you might be able to find some on there. They're called Gramps and V's Chronicles, where he and I just kind of sit there and I just ask him questions, and he just kind of goes up. This is from the time he was not talking. He would just make faces, and I would make comments till now. Excuse me. He's 3 years old, and we do them every now and then. He's hilarious. He's smart.
He talks like a little rascal, like he's come from Spanky and Alfalfa. Like, Gramps!
I tell him to call me Gramps.
He's like, Gramps, you know what? I don't think I want to eat that, Gramps.
I'm like, okay, but you don't have to. He's hilarious. Yeah, I love him to death.
So did you have to go through the phase where your adult children treated your house like it was the free Walmart, stopping by just to pick up whatever they want, or whatever they don't have and they may not be able to afford?
To this day, the beauty of it is that we're so far away, so that they can't come over that often. But it's about I'll be remiss if I didn't say that there's part of me that's like, I'm glad that they're able to. Mm-hmm. There's something in there to take. Because I don't know if you know part of my story. There was a time when I was a single dad with Curtis, Ison, and Kimani, and we didn't have a pot. And you know the rest of that saying, right? Yeah. And it was really rough. And the fact that now that we are in a position that they can come up here and we have sometimes it feels like more than we can handle. We're very, very blessed and very fortunate, and they can go in there and take stuff. It kind of makes my heart smile sometimes. You know what I mean? And it's like, especially that my middle girl, Kimani, she's still single, and she's a 24-year-old. She's just single and fancy free. She's living her best life. She up in Harlem. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, she be posting pictures. I'm like, okay, you know what, Dad, that's not for you to look at. I'm like, okay, just take it down. Just take it down. I'm just saying that. Nah. But she come up here. I think she just turned vegan. She done changed her life around. Yeah, she's changed. She's vegan. So maybe she's gonna come up here and ain't gonna be nothing for her to take out of there. She's
gonna come up there and change what's in there and change you guys. That's what she's gonna do.
Oh, here she goes. Here we go. We eating this.
Do you think that going through the rough times that you mentioned, has served to make you stronger?
Most definitely. Yeah. But yes, I do. A lot of times I don't think about them until something happens. because if I think about it too hard, I get really emotional about it.
Mm-hmm.
So I know that I'm a very hard worker. I know that I can live off of $20 a week. I figured out a way to make do. So it gives me a leeway when opportunities come my way, and I'm like, I'm good. I don't need to take that. I don't get afraid that it's not there. There's no way out, because we were so low and so needy and so unfortunate. So definitely makes me stronger. And also looking at them, I wonder what they remember of that time, because they were very young. Curtis, I think, I want to say Curtis was like 7 years old. So that would make Isis 6, and that would make Kimani 4, I guess. So I wonder what they really remember during that time period. But what I've seen of them thus far is that they are survivors. They are fighters. Yeah. And I'm hoping that it's a testament of us, me and them, getting through. But I also know it's a testament to their own personal wills, you know what I mean, and what's in store for them in their lives as well.
Yeah, we're talking with Curtis Cook, the star of The Chi on Showtime. And the new season should be coming up soon. We're hoping to see it soon anyway, where he will be running for mayor. You have some folks was making some comments, and I'd be remiss if I missed it. Latora Williams, I tried to say your name right. She says that going back to our conversation about the kids in which they watched your show, she says that was a psych tactic, so you wouldn't make them watch again.
She's like,
well, look what Claudel Douglas says. Claudel Douglas says, so it's not just my household where I get dumped on. So you're in good company, man.
Yeah, they come for me whenever they get an opportunity to. And that's because I'm hard on them too, though. So they're like, we got you.
Are there, given that both you and your wife are in the industry, are any of your children also interested in pursuing a career as a performer?
Yeah, Curtis Jr. Is an actor. Okay. Go to his Instagram page, Curtis Jr. I think he has a movie, a short that they just finished. He did a couple of films that were featured out at Sundance. Curtis and I, we did an episode together of Manifest, that's on NBC in the first season. He actually played my son. Okay. On there. He's a really good actor, and he's growing a lot, and he has a lot of passion and a lot of focus. I'm very, 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 very proud of him. And then my youngest daughter, Jade, one of the twins, she's acting. She hasn't done anything professional yet. I won't let her, and she hates me to death for it. She's like, see, I'm like, yeah. Hey, trust me, it's gonna work out for you. Trust me, it's gonna work out. But she's really good. She has a lot of natural abilities, more so than I ever had at that age. She listens well. She's able to take in the information and give you a different spin on it. She can sing as well. Her mom, which is my wife, Angelica, studied as a dancer. Beautiful dancer, concert dancer. She used to dance with Ron Brown here in the city a while back. Like I said before, she's on Broadway now. We've been trying to teach Jade to dance, and
see, you sometimes I can tell you're a glutton for punishment because you know what, that little pause, you know.
Yes, yeah. So I love her to death, but everybody can't do everything. Some people gotta leave some gifts for other folks, and she decided to leave that for other folks. So What I will say is though, she got a mean voice, and she can act her behind off. She can move a bit too, I will say. Then Harlem, my youngest, he's a sports head. He plays football, and he's really talented at that as well. Yeah. Yeah. So and then there's Isis, who is a chef, and then it's Kimani, who works with children as well. So they'd be mad, like, you just mentioning them, you ain't mentioning them. That's what I feel with it. So
that's what you do when you have all those kids, right? And do you mix their names up at times, or you call one the other?
Yes. What is it? Oh, I wish Jay was here. She'll tell me. There's a name that I say. Jamani. I say Jamani a lot. That's Jade and Kimani together. Jamani. I never mess up Curtis's name.
Well,
that is a beautiful name. No, and Harlem, I never believe it. The boys are the bookends. So, and I never kind of mess up Isis's name. Or sometimes I might make up ICD. I might say ICD sometimes. And so yeah, and then the grandbabies, I just give them initials. So yeah, B, come here, MD, come here, buddy. So yeah, I'm silly, as y'all see. I try to have a good time. What else is there?
Curtis, are you pursuing any projects behind the camera, like a director, producer, or writer?
No, we used to have a theater company back in the day that was pretty successful in the city called Quayle. So I with the company members, we used to write the plays. So I write a lot. I don't have any major aspirations to direct, really. I'm still trying to get the ideal role that I would like to have, whatever that is. I'll know it when it comes, but I enjoy acting, man. I love it. I live it. And I'll never say never. Who knows what happens later on? But it's not like a burning passion that I want to direct this piece. I want to write this piece. I'd love to be part of the production team. I would love to be the number one on the show who gets that opportunity to also give insight into the characters and that kind of a thing. But I don't have any huge aspirations right now to direct. Not yet.
So you're getting some love from Philadelphia. Shirley J. Carter. She says hello from beautiful Philadelphia. And Latora Williams says Curtis resembles Tony King and Douda. Douda sort of reminds me of Satin Struthers Sparkle. Is that a coincidence?
Oh, hold on. First of all, I don't know any of those names you just said, but I'm watch me act. So Tony King, I remember Tony when he was in high school. He and I don't know. Would you
Hey, I was gonna run with it.
Wait a minute, but maybe she's talking about Sparkle the movie.
I think so.
So I don't know. I don't think there is. I don't think there's any coincidence or any correlation between any of those people. Tony King, I resemble Tony King. Was he a character or is he? See,
it's there's some I can pick out, especially like my family says when it's something that happened in like the 70s and 80s, I can remember it like the back of my hand. But if it happened recently, so I'm done.
Right, it's like
But before we went live, you and I was having a discussion. We see all the police shootings of unarmed African American men, and I wanted to mention Annette Phillips first of all before I go into that. She says of you, of course, he is a funny and great speaker. Annette is we love Annette. She watches all the time, and we really appreciate her. But you and I was talking about a movie called Night Falls on Manhattan. That's the name of the movie, in which the character is based on a true story. A young guy who was a drug dealer in New York shot and killed these police officers and was charged, of course, with murder. And he was acquitted. And when you think about that, and I saw, your face was like, and he was black. Right. So, it's so interesting to see what's happening, but there's a big story behind that. People can watch that movie. We don't have a whole lot of time left, but you can watch that movie. It's called Night Falls on Manhattan with Andy Garcia and Richard Dreyfuss and my buddy Sheik Mahmoud Bey. I gotta mention Sheik. In fact, I think we'll have Sheik on to talk more about that, given the climate that we're in. But what goes through as a father? How do you talk to your children about this?
Yeah. Rough, Stacey. This is rough. We've had this talk many times, Harlem and I, and Curtis and I, and my daughters as well. It's like, if the police come, if you're in the car and the police come, do not make any sudden movements. Do not try to raise your voice with whatever energy is coming at you. Try to de-escalate, even though you're not the problem. Try to make it as calm as possible. Please ask if you can, if there is a problem, if their camera is on them. It's rough. Yeah, because you never stop worrying. Where we live now is it's predominantly white, and my youngest son Harlem, a lot of his friends are white, which is fine until it's not fine. I grew up in a different time, in a different place, which is starting to look like a lot like this time in this place. So I have to tell my son that although your friend who you've known since pre-K is smouting off and yelling at the cops, and they're all throwing things or doing whatever they could possibly be doing, you cannot look like you have. If anything, you need to try to leave them, because 9 times out of 10, you won't make it home. And I know that these are your friends. I know you've known them all your life, and and that's not easy. That's not easy to say, and it's even worse that it's a reality. And then my oldest son, who I don't know where he is. I mean, I know where he is, but at least with Harlem, I see him every day, and I'm able to touch base with him and really, have a connection with him. But Curtis he's living his life. He's a grown man, so the phone rings. You hear things that are going on, and the phone rings, and you're like, "There's a minute, man," and it's so messed up that there's a minute of, please just let it just be a regular call. So you're kind of answering with a, hey, you good? And you hear the okay sound in his voice. You're like, oh, great. So what's up? You know what I mean? And it's that pause, and it's going to change. It's going to change. And they've tried to stop us in so many ways before. They tried to eliminate us so many times before. And each time they cannot. And we rise. And we are better, and we are stronger. And I know that this is also one of those times, and the anger and the frustration and the vitriol that's coming from them and the hate, it won't win. I won't let it win, because my grandfather, my great-grandfather, my sisters, my mother, my grandmother, my aunties, all of them fought so hard for me to be able to be here talking to you right now, Stacey, to be able to have these opportunities. And I am not going to allow them to stop me from fighting, from speaking, from doing anything, because my grandchildren, my 2 Black grandsons, are going to be all right. We're going to make it
Yeah,
through it.
I'm reminded as you were speaking, and although it was a comedy, this is not a comedic matter, but I'm reminded of an episode of The Jeffersons, and it may have been the first episode of The Jeffersons, when George and Louise moved on up to the East Side, and Florence came for the job, and she noticed, the black family, and then she noticed something else, and she asked the question, how come we overcame and nobody told me? And the fact is, they marched in the 60s and they said we shall overcome. And the way you and I are having this discussion right now, it's very somber, because you start to wonder, have we overcome anything?
Yeah, yes, but I think we keeping knowing that you and I are now having this conversation, two black men having this kind of conversation on this platform, and we don't know how many people are seeing this, but we know it's available for millions of people. The fact that the NBA did that stand the other day and decided to stop because those players were like, no, we're not participating in this. Michelle Obama, Barack Obama, Kamala Harris. There are examples of we are moving this rock, and it's not just a Sisyphean task. We're moving it. We are moving it. That continues to give me hope, because they don't want to show us this. I mean, even like the story you were telling me about the movie, it's like he was black and he made it out. It's the fact that happened. I mean, that's not the best of stories, but it's the fact that it was a black man who did this and we don't know about it. I mean, not to say that other people are going to be out there be like, oh, I'm going to shoot up some cops and get away because whatever, but it's like stories that are happening in incredible black folk and kings and queens that have been here, that have done amazing things. We don't know about them because there's been an organized oppression of that information so that it doesn't get to us, I feel. But it's getting to us, and we're learning about it, and we're fighting for it, and we're moving through. A fight is hideous, a fight is ugly, a fight is dirty, a fight is nasty. That's what a fight is. But a fight is only so you can get to the peace. And that's where we are now, and we will get to the peace, I feel. We will get there. We will get there.
And just for context, folks, we were talking the movie, the situation that Curtis was just relaying. It's Larry Davis was his name, or he changed his name to Adam Abdul Hakim after this situation occurred. But he was a black American convicted in 1991 of a drug dealer's murder from 1986, yet he was known for his 1986 shootout in the Bronx, New York. He shot 6 officers. He asserted self-defense, and he was acquitted of those charges because it was shown by his attorneys. And Annette Phillips, one of our viewers, said that she was actually the paralegal for the attorney.
Wow.
What happened was the cops actually, it was found that they put a hit out on him and they went to execute him. And it was apparently proven in court that was the motive of the police officers, and that's why he was acquitted. Unfortunately for Adam Abdul Hakim, the former Larry Davis, he was stabbed to death by a fellow inmate in 2008. So that's just to put it in context. But the movie is called Night Falls on Manhattan. Richard Dreyfuss, again, Andy Garcia, and again, gotta mention my friend who played Larry Davis, Sheik Makbuk Bey, Queen's boy. Anyway, but most importantly, though, coming up in December, West Side Story starring Curtis Cook. Curtis with the 2S. We really appreciate you joining us, Curtis. We have to do it again. You stay safe and stay well, and give our much love to your family, and tell your kids to keep giving you all the trauma you can take. Tonight at 7:00. Join us tonight at 7:00. We have a very, very special program tonight. Many may know the story of little Amaya Braxton, a 9-year-old girl in Mississippi who, coming home from school, she was let off her bus The bus had its stop sign out. We know the law. We have to stop. Well, a woman named Karen, this is a woman named Karen, went around that stop sign, went into this girl's driveway, actually went up on the curb, killed her. Never been convicted. 2 grand juries refused to indict her, and her parents are still fighting for justice. So tonight we're going to talk to her parents, Amaya Braxton's parents, tonight at 7 o'clock. Tune in. Then again, it's another one of those situations where people are wondering whether Black lives do matter. This is a Black young girl, 9 years old, and the driver was a white woman who police said, well, she wasn't intoxicated. She wasn't using a cell phone. It was simply an accident. They disregarded the fact that there was a stop sign that she ran through and went up on the sidewalk and struck and killed this young girl. We'll talk about that tonight. Curtis, it's a privilege. Thanks again, everybody. Thanks for watching.
Thank you, guys.